here with counsel. Ms. Smulders is here on his behalf. Ms. Shields is not here. Matter was set. Well, I guess Mr. Shields, the council filed a motion for an ex parte order for custody and parenting time to be set. The motion was not granted by the judge. However, it was set for an expedited hearing at this time. Judge signed the order on 6/2, and today is 6/8. Ms. Smulders, I guess now that we're on the record, what efforts have been made to notify the defendant of today's proceedings?
Sure, Your Honor. So based upon the pleadings, essentially what had happened is my client came home one day and the defendant, his wife, nor his children were there. What we have learned is that she may have checked herself and the children into a domestic violence shelter. However, we do not know that location. My understanding is we also had heard that she may want to move into her mother's house. So in terms of service, Your Honor, we did serve these pleadings to the mother's address, so defendant mother's address. And that's really it as far as that's concerned. I know my office has tried to glean the location of a domestic violence shelter that she's at. I think there was like a mutual friend that may have some information, but that avenue didn't lead us anywhere as well, Your Honor. So unfortunately, we have been unable to effectuate proper service. However, her last known address is the residence of the plaintiff himself right now. Obviously, we know she's not living there, but that was the last known address of record.
Okay. All right. Well, keeping that in mind, I guess we can proceed today with some testimony to establish the facts that were alleged in the petition. Ex parte motions and orders, Ms. Smulders knows this, but serve for your information, they're to be based on irreparable harm or injury. And I guess that's kind of speculative at this point. But I can certainly understand there being some fear of the unknown and what may be going on. But I got to keep all that in mind when I consider a motion for an ex parte order, especially when it's under a lawsuit, divorce, which the defendant hasn't been served, I would assume, with the summons and complaint at all, and the ex parte, which I know she didn't receive notice of the hearing today. But I'll certainly listen to what you have to say and make a decision that's in the children's best interest, at least for the short term going forward.
And do you recall coming to Smulders' law office and meeting with attorney Stephanie Korndike?
Yes.
Okay. And did you and her come to the agreement that you were going to file an emergency motion based on custody and parenting time at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And you have 2 minor children with the defendant, correct?
Correct.
And what is the defendant's name?
Ashley Shields.
Okay. And what are the ages of your minor children?
8 and 6.
Okay. And at some point in time recently, you came home and the defendant and the children weren't there. Do you recall that date?
I'm trying to remember the exact date.
Sure.
But I can't remember if it was like the May 11th or May 12th.
Okay.
It was before Mother's Day, my birthday, and my daughter's birthday.
Okay. All right. And can you kind of walk us through that day when you came to that realization?
I came home and kids never got off the bus, and I didn't know what else to do outside of, try to find an attorney or something to figure out what's going on, because the schools, I called the school, they were already closed.
Okay.
So I couldn't get any answers from there.
What school did they go to?
White Cloud Public Schools.
All right. And well, scratch that. Did you ever come to understanding their whereabouts?
No, it's just what I hear.
Okay.
So it's all hearsay pretty much.
Sure. Did you attempt to contact the defendant that day?
I did, and I get no response. I take screenshots of the messages that I send and I email it over to Stephanie.
Sure. And in fact, you emailed Smolder's Law Office several screenshots of just one-sided conversations, correct?
Correct.
And still no response to date from the defendant?
Correct. I sent a message this morning asking how the kids are. She read it and no response.
Okay, so read notifications are on her her iPhone, I guess it would have been.
Correct.
Okay, all right. And have you had any communication with your children?
No.
Okay. And I know you stated it was May 11th or May 12th of this year. Have you had any subsequent then communication with White Cloud Public Schools concerning their attendance?
I did go there, I believe, last week to pick up their belongings that were still at the school.
Mhm.
And when I was talking with Miss Arnold, she hadn't heard anything as far as the kids' whereabouts and that they haven't been in school since they got pulled out that day.
Okay. So, as far as you know, then the school hasn't had any communication as well with the defendant?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And I know you've kind of just testified to you have certain ideas as to where your wife and children may be, and this is coming from mutual friends, is that true?
Correct.
Okay. And what are some of those, I guess, ideas or places that are floating around?
The only one that I could think of is I think it's called Wise in Big Rapids, but I'm not sure.
Okay. And are you aware whether or not any of these domestic violence shelters are able to disclose people that are staying there?
I do not. I've never been to one. I know nothing about them.
Okay. All right. And is that just like a family friend or a mutual friend that indicated that to you?
A mutual friend.
Okay. All right. So if in fact the defendant is in a domestic violence shelter with the children, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Has there been any domestic violence issues between the two of you?
No.
Okay. And when did you guys get married?
June 20th of 21.
Okay. And you guys have been living together the entire time since marriage?
Correct.
And have you been living together prior to marriage?
Yes, outside of I think it was like a 6-month stint that we weren't together because she had pulled stuff like similar to this before. And we had agreed that we get back together, we'll go to couples counseling. Anytime I brought it up, she would deny going and refuse.
Okay. So then aside from that 6-month stint, overall, how many years have you guys been living together? Or since what year, if that makes it easier?
I want to say we started living together in 2014, the same year we started dating.
Okay. All right. And let's kind of talk about the defendant now. You said she pulled a 6-month stint before. Are mental health issues concerning for you in terms of the defendant's mental health?
I believe so. I know it kind of runs in her family having some mental issues, and she had made comments recently about her mental status.
What comments did she?
Just something about needing to something. It was work related, and she's not there mentally or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was about her mental health. But yet wouldn't ever go see a counselor or a therapist or anything to figure out what's going on.
Okay. And was that the first time you ever heard of her having any sort of struggles mentally?
I think it was a couple times within this year that she had said it.
And had she had any sort of odd or questionable behavior recently, other than, of course, abruptly leaving with the children, that
Uh,
concerned you?
Not really.
Okay. All right. So this is kind of out of the blue for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what concerns then do you have? I know you heard the judge indicate that, an ex parte is obviously an emergency type situation. And it may only be speculative because you've had no contact, but what are some of those concerns? I mean, it's going on a month now since you've had any contact or communication with your children. Can you explain
It's
to the court?
uh just unsure of where she's at, how my kids are doing, how she's acting towards them. Because I know there would be times when the kids are trying to express their emotions, and then it turns into an argument with her. So she doesn't want to take care of it emotionally when they have problems, where they would come to me and I would deal with it. So it's like I don't know how they're doing emotionally,
Okay.
and that's kind of the
Um,
bigger concern.
and do you have concerns as to, just their environment and where they are living?
As I don't know where they are, I do have concerns, but again, I don't know if they are in a shelter, then they should be safe. But if they're not, I don't know.
Sure. And that's kind of the basis of it, that they could be in a shelter, but they could also be anywhere in this world, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And so are you concerned for their safety then?
Yeah, just because I don't know where they are and I don't hear from them and I don't get updates on them, I am concerned,
Okay.
as I've always been there for them since they were born.
Okay. And so you're concerned for not only their safety, but their mental and physical well-being then?
Correct.
Okay. And has the defendant, during that 6-month stint that you had indicated before, had she ever just stopped all contact or communication with you and the children?
No, because it was court ordered, so she was following it. And I know even when I had the kids on my time, they would want to call their mom, so I would let them. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess when the kids wanted to call me, when she had them, she wouldn't let them.
Okay.
But
All
that's
right.
coming from the kids. So again, I don't know.
Sure. Sure. And then just kind of describe to the court, if you will, just kind of your role as their father. You indicated just a moment ago that they come to you when they have troubles and concerns. Can you elaborate?
If they're mad or upset or just feeling down, it's they don't know who to go to and who to talk to about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I would sit down with them and talk to them, or we'd go for a ride and kind of talk and see what's going on.
Okay. Do you believe that they felt comfortable then sharing their issues or concerns or problems with you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that you were actively involved in their day-to-day lives?
Yes.
Okay. And do you currently work?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your work schedule like?
Monday through Friday, 7 to 4:30.
Okay. And no weekends, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So after work and on weekends, did you make it a point to be at home and or spend time with your children, wherever that may be?
Yes.
Okay. And more times than not, were you in fact home and spending quality time with your children?
Yes.
Did you assist with homework and preparation of meals and, any extracurriculars that they may have been participating in?
Yes.
Okay. And do you believe that you and the defendant equally co-parented in those aspects?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. So again, this behavior is abrupt and out of the normal, ordinary, I guess, if you will, for the defendant. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay. And is that why you're so concerned as to moving forward, not having a court order to get those children back in your care?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like the court to know concerning just for the ex parte purposes today?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. That's all I have for the ex parte, Your Honor.
All right, I have a couple questions. Sir, you have information or belief that your wife may be in a domestic violence shelter at this time?
Correct.
All right. And, was there ever any domestic violence between the two of you, during the time that you were together?
No.
So at any time since you said you started dating in 2014?
Yes.
All right, so there's never been any issue of domestic violence either way between the two of you?
No.
All right, have the police ever responded to arguments at your home or any kind of domestic disturbance?
No.
Have you ever been investigated for abuse or neglect of children or anything like that?
No.
Okay, are these your only two children, the two children you have with Ashley?
I have one other one that lived with her mom wherever they live.
Okay, how old's that child?
13, I believe.
You don't have any contact with that child?
No, it's kind of the same thing that I'm dealing with now. Went through court for a long time and got nowhere.
Who's that child's mom?
Valkeisha Shields.
So were you married to her at the time, at some point?
Yes, I was married to her at that point, yes.
Okay. Is that case in this county or a different county?
It's in another state.
Oh, another state, all right. So does that child live in the other state somewhere?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
That custody is supposed to be 50-50 and all that stuff, but she's never obeyed a single court order, and yeah.
All right. So if you had to guess, did you say you thought that she was probably in the Y shelter in Big Rapids?
Yes, if I had to guess.
Okay. And you have people that you are in contact with that also are or could be in contact with her?
The person that had told me that she was in a shelter is no longer in contact with her, as she doesn't want to be in the middle of the whole situation.
Oh, okay. And it's your understanding that the children did not go to school from May 11th or 12th through the end of the school year?
Correct.
At least they didn't go in White Cloud.
Correct.
And did you inquire further in White Cloud if they had been enrolled in a different school? So, or I guess, did you inquire further in White Cloud if they had been unenrolled?
No, as far as I was told, they were still enrolled there and not unenrolled, or however you want to say that.
Okay. They just weren't going.
Yes.
All right. They weren't going at all, or they weren't going in person? Were you led to believe they may be going online or virtually or somehow?
The school never really said anything on it. As far as what the school had told me is they hadn't been there at all.
Okay.
And there was never any call saying that they weren't going to be there or anything like that.
And so you have concerns about the about Ms. Shields' family having contact with the children as well?
Yes.
And you said her mother was caught drinking and driving with the kids in the car. Was she caught by the police or by you?
No, we had caught them doing that.
Okay, like driving drunk or just like having one or two drink? I mean,
It's hard telling.
Okay. I mean, yeah, either way, it's not great, but I mean, certainly if she was intoxicated, I guess drinking and driving is open to a lot of interpretation. what's your wife's mother's name?
Mary Stratton
Where does she live?
at
That's pretty
569.
close to where you live,
Correct.
right down the road, probably.
Kind of across the street.
Oh, okay. And you haven't seen your wife over there?
No.
Okay. And I'm sure you've asked Mary Stratton where your wife is, but she won't say anything.
She doesn't talk to me.
Okay. Have you sent her texts as well, asking just how your kids are, if she knows?
No, I have not.
All right, Ms. Smulders, any other questions for your client?
No,
All right. All right. Did you have any other evidence you wanted to present, Ms. Smulders?
no, I have no other, no.
All right. Do you have any
I wish I did, Your Honor.
closing comments then? Any final?
Well, yeah, so essentially we want just a temporary order granting my client primary physical custody. In the defendant, of course, some sort of reasonable parenting time, although at this point we would probably deem supervised would be best based on what she has done. I mean, we're pushing a month now and 2 days, 3 days, and my client has had zero contact. From my client's testimony, it's clear that he was an actively involved parent. We even in the pleadings indicated so was mom. So that this is very odd why she would do this for the children's sake, because they have to be missing their father. They have to be missing their friends at school. This is one of those situations where we do hope she is in a domestic violence shelter, even though that seems odd. Also, as my client indicated, there's never been any sort of domestic violence. There's never been any police called to the house. There's never been any sort of charges and or convictions regarding that. So for children as young as 8 and 6 to actually potentially be in a domestic violence shelter, given the situation, that's also problematic. So that is what we are requesting, Your Honor. In lieu of that, if the court does not want to give my client full physical custody and primary parenting time, at least we need some sort of court order so we can have contact and parenting time with the children. If custody is still going to be left up in the air, that can be handled then through the divorce proceedings. However, we want some sort of order to give my client some sort of parenting time for these children.
All right. Because she hasn't been served with a copy of this motion or even a copy of the summons and complaint yet, I'm really reluctant to do something as drastic as an order of custody. I don't mind entering an order, and I guess the recommendation order would be that the children be immediately turned over to the plaintiff, and law enforcement is to assist in the location of the children and gaining possession of the children for the purposes of turning the children over to the plaintiff. However, I'm going to set this for another hearing pretty quickly.
Okay.
Hopefully that can be accomplished because I really want to hear from the other party. I mean, I assume when people are sworn in and they testify, they're telling me the truth. And sir, I assume that you are, and I hope that you are. But there's two sides to every story, and these cases hinge on the best interests of children. And so before anything more permanent would be granted, I want to hear from both sides. Maybe in the process of law enforcement, if they will, they should with this court order, but they don't always. But maybe they would serve the other party too if they are able to learn of her location. But I guess so. It'd be my intent to hear this again next Tuesday. I have time in the morning or afternoon, Ms. Smulders, whatever works for you. So I'm hoping you can get this order, get it to, it'll be done today. You can come up here and pick it up if you want a copy quicker than waiting in the mail, but get it to her and get her at least notified that these proceedings are going on so we can have another hearing and and, I can make maybe a more, permanent decision at that point.
Sure. Can it be as late as possible, even 4 o'clock on Tuesday, if that's possible? We have a pretty packed schedule that day, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm just looking at my calendar. It looks like that's the only day I have any time next week to fit anything in.
Mhm.
Maybe that's too soon. I don't know if,
I mean, we have that white cloud office, so we can pick up the order. It's just, it might be honestly too soon to,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what priority law enforcement's going to have on this. Hopefully, high priority, but that's, I think, where our hands are tied.
Yeah. How about the Wednesday after? How about the 21st? Maybe that makes more sense.
Okay, let's see. Sure, afternoon is fine on that day.
All right, let's do this then. June 21st at 1:15. Then you won't have to worry about getting up here and getting the order. You should get
Sure.
plenty of time to make some attempts to, I don't want to tell you what to do, sir, when it comes to executing the order, but if you took it across the street and showed it to your wife's mom and said she's been directed to turn the children over and have the police assist, that could be traumatic for the children to have the police involved. If you could let her know that this order exists and that this thing's been filed and there's another hearing on June 21st, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a way to get the other party notified that these things are going on so she can be a part of it, offer her opinion, and because I think that'll ultimately get things moving in the right direction. So anyway, I'll see you back here on June 21st, then you should get the order tonight. So are you there now?
Hello, there we go.
All right. All right, I called the case. Mr. Smith is here, Ms. DeVore is not. This is a date and time set for hearing on Mr. Smith's motion. Sir, what are you requesting today and why?
Okay, I want my new doctor. I'm sorry about missing the last court date. I got the times mixed up. I have a new doctor. His name's Dr. William Weiner. He's an internal medicine doctor. He declared me permanently disabled. I have the letter coming in the mail. I will get it to you as soon as I get it. Plus, I have my federal hearing tomorrow for my disability at 1 o'clock out of Mount Pleasant. So if we can postpone this matter, I don't know, a week or two, so Brandy could be here also, that would be great. I could get you the information as soon as it gets to me.
All right, yeah, she's not here for some reason.
I've been cooperating this whole time, sir. I have no reason to lie. I'm sorry that I'm disabled and I'm sick, but my legs just don't work no more. I'm having major problems with them. I'm homeless.
All right, can you get your doctor to testify?
I think that's going a little too far again, sir.
Well, the only problem is
I'm gonna get my SSI tomorrow.
all right, well,
So-
okay, and I'll adjourn this so we can see what happens there.
If that route has to come,
letters really aren't as admissible as a lot of people.
they were before.
because-
They were before. They were before.
you
So
can't-
what's
that's-
changed now? What's
that's-
changed from before?
Okay, just listen, all right? Your doctor was here to verify those letters before. So
He's
the
not my
letters-
doctor no more.
Okay,
That's not my doctor. Have a whole
get
new
that.
doctor.
I get that. But he was here to verify that those were your medical records and testify about his opinion last time.
He wasn't a doctor, sir. He was a practitioner. Now I see an internal medicine MD doctor, and he says I'm permanently disabled.
Okay, good,
And
good.
he told me if I
I'm
have
glad
to
we finally
subpoena him
have
in
that,
court-
but what we need is we need the doctor to actually testify, because when he submits a letter,
Okay,
he's not under oath when he writes the letter. You know, you would assume it's true, but he's not under oath and he can't be, the letter can't be cross-examined, okay? So
you
that's
know, we've been
the only
going at this for what, 13 months now, sir?
That's the only
I think
reason
we're
I would
wasting
say
the
you would
court's
need to
time.
have the doctor testify. I know you don't like to listen to me, but that's how the law works. I'll adjourn this till June 23rd at 9 a.m. and we'll have a hearing then.
Okay. What happens with my SSI tomorrow?
What's that?
What's gonna happen when I get my SSI? Because that's
broke up.
tomorrow, sir.
You broke up. I couldn't hear you. What?
I said, I have my SSI hearing tomorrow. What
Yep.
is going to happen after I get my SSI?
Well, presumably, support would be recalculated based on zero
How?
income because
I'm
we
not
don't.
getting, I'm not getting full-blown Social Security, sir. I'm getting
said-
SSI.
Gosh, if you would just
Are
listen.
you
sir.
kidding?
Just
Listen, my
keep
lawyer
talking.
already told me. All right, adjourned until when? June what?
So when we run support with SSI, we put in zero income, okay?
Yep, yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
usually
June
that results
23rd, at what
in a
time,
zero
sir?
obligation, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Get that medical
Mm-hmm.
record, see if you can get your doctor to testify to back it up, or maybe
Oh,
someone
he
in
already
the office
said he
just to
would.
verify it. And
He already
see you here
said he
on June
would.
23rd, 2023 at 9 a.m. And when you come to court next time, try not to interrupt. You got it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to prove my point. I'm disabled
that.
and I don't know what the problem is.
And I give you a
But
chance to
I'm
speak, but
disabled,
then you
dude.
talk
I
right
can't
over
work.
me whenever I try to explain things.
Because I can't work. You don't listen.
That's
I've
not the
been out of
point.
work for 21
Whether you can
months.
work or not is irrelevant to the fact that you interrupt me throughout these proceedings.
Because
So
you don't listen
if you do it again, I'm going to require you to be here in person. I won't allow you to appear via Zoom. So don't let it happen again.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, have a great day.